Let's go to Proverbs 17 for the public reading of the scripture. Proverbs chapter 17. Better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife. A wise servant will rule over a son who causes shame, and will share an inheritance among brothers. The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the hearts. An evildoer gives heed to false lips. A liar listens eagerly to a spiteful tongue. He who mocks the poor reproaches his maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children is their father. Excellent speech is not becoming to a fool, much less lying lips to a prince. A present is a precious stone in the eyes of its possessor. Wherever he turns, he prospers. He who covers a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates friends. Rebuke is more effective for a wise man than 100 blows on a fool. An evil man seeks only rebellion. Therefore, a cruel messenger will be sent against him. Let a man meet a bear robbed of her cubs, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoever rewards evil for good, evil will not depart from his house. The beginning of strife is like releasing water. Therefore, stop contention before a quarrel starts. He who justifies the wicked and he condemns the just, both of them are like an abomination to the Lord. Why is there in the hand of a fool the purchase price of wisdom, since he has no heart for it? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man devoid of understanding shakes hands in a pledge and becomes surety for his friend. He who loves transgression loves strife, and he who exalts his gate seeks destruction. He who has a deceitful heart finds no good, and he who has a perverse tongue falls into evil. He who begets a scoffer does so to his sorrow, and the father of a fool has no joy. A merry heart is good, like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. A wicked man accepts a bribe behind the back to pervert the ways of justice. Wisdom is in the sight of him who has understanding, but the eyes of a fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her who bore him. Also, to punish the righteous is not good, nor to strike princes for their uprightness. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is of a calm spirit. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. Pagtuunan natin ng comment dito yung last verse, which we matatouch din natin o mahagip natin yung second to the last verse na 28, sana lang. But matouch natin yung 27, which I will explain later. So napili ko to kasi yun, napansin niyo naman yung mga comment ko nung nakaraan. Ito rin yung hindi talaga rin karaniwan, or I would say really strange. Kasi for me, nung unang basa ko to, kasi yung mga unang nakakabasa pa lang nito, yun nga, strange siya na we did not expect that this should be part of God's holy scriptures, no? Verse 28. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. Komenta natin to by expounding yung gamit ng mga materials ko. No? So, top explanations na I think nakuha ito ng tama. First, from Dr. MacArthur sa kanyang NASB Study Bible, no? So, ang paliwanag dito ni Dr. MacArthur, no? This is not saying that fools show wisdom in their silence, no? But that silence conceals their folly. So, I think para madaling maintindihan ay kailangan natin matutunan yung key word, which is a verb considered, no? Yung second line, no? He is considered perceptive. So, kasi sa unang basa, ano ba, nagiging matalino ba yung hangal o yung walang kaalaman tuwing nananahimik? Hindi naman. So, nako-consider lang. He does not become or he does not transforms. Okay? Then, mas mahabang commentary kay Charles Bridges, ang paliwanag naman niya dito, I quote, "He cannot be known for a fool that says nothing. He is a fool, not who hath unwise thoughts, but who utters them. Even concealed folly is wisdom." So, yan yung paliwanag ng mga commentators dito, which, yun, I think, sa kaalaman din naman natin, yun, sa katotohanan, ganun nga yung nangyayari, no? Sa perception natin, kapag yung mga, hindi naman totally siguro hangal, but kung wala kang kaalaman, no? Tapos, hindi na lang nagsasalita yung isang tao dahil wala siyang alam, nako-consider natin siya as great display of wisdom. But then, yun yung nasabi ko nga kanina na makatouch natin yung second to the last verse, no, 27, dahil dito sa interpretation na to, yung dalawang na-explain ko directly sa verse 28. So, ano yan, hiwalay na interpretation, pagpapaliwanag, separated explanation. But naman, sa atin sa NKJV, no, pag napansin nyo, hindi sila two-liner proverb. Yung pagka-indent sa 27-28 magkasama. Tama? Ganon din sa ESV, I think pati sa NASB. Pero yung sa gamit ko isa na NIV, magkahiwalay kasi. So I don't know sa original, kaya yan, may magkahiwalay na interpretation. So, with that, yung pag sa view ng ESV or kahit natong NKJV natin, kaya si Dr. Sproul, sa ano naman niya, yun nga, ESV, Reformation Study Bible, ang comment niya dito ay hypothetical extension, yung verse 28 lang. So, kumbaga paliwanag lang siya kasi ang hypothetical. So, ang totoong nangyayari or nag-e-exist na situation, yung verse 27, which I'll just read ulit. Diba? "He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is of a calm spirit." So, mas kumbaga pinapaliwanag na lang ng so, yung last verse, yung totoong nangyayari, which is verse 27. So, paliwanagan lang din natin yung verse 27, no? We know by life experience, this is also true, na yung wise, mga taong wise, sa kanilang nagain na wisdom, sa tamang panahon ay nakakapag-control ng kanilang dila. Kung kailan na lang kailangan magsalita, ay doon sila nakakapagsalita. Yun yung the best na paliwanag for me sa mga materials na nakuha ko. Then, with that, yung connection na sa 27, ang explanation na ni Dr. Sproul sa 28, no? I'll just quote ulit. "Ironically, the fool who has the wit to keep silent shows at least some potential for wisdom." Oh, yun yung pinakapaliwanag niya. Magbigay tayo ng implication dito kasi yun nga, hindi naman natin, kung pipilosopuhin natin, no? Pag nanahimik din pala all the time, ay nako-consider tayo as matalino. So, hindi naman. Lalo na, ang key reference din natin dito, same author, King Solomon din sa Ecclesiastes. If you know Ecclesiastes 3:7, there is a time, yung I think verses 1 to 12, no, there is a time for everything. Verse 7, dito yun nahagyan. There is a time to be silent and a time to speak. So, syempre, like, one example, kung hihingi naman kayo ng counsel sa mga pastor natin, syempre sasagutin nila kayo. Hindi naman sila mananahimik. Para lang masabi na matalino sila. Pag nagtanong kayo, magsasalita sila. Diba? Right? So, yun lang kung ipaliwanag natin yon. And I'm just, nag-focus ako dito, no, sa comment na to dahil napakalaking implication ito or at least incorporation sa atin ng mga believers pagdating sa gospel command ng Panginoon that we be light or salt and light of the world. Kasi yung iti-take na nga natin yung interpretation na magkasama yung 27-28, no, na we can say or I can say I will apply or even I would go so far as to exhort us, yung kasabihan sa Tagalog, no, Huwag na lang magsalita kung walang sasabihing maganda, 'di ba? Maganda o maayos yung kasabihan sa atin. But 'di ba, almost naging divine siya yung kasabihan natin na yon in light of these two verses. So, exhort this to summarize, no? Great display ng wisdom ang controlling ng ating dila sa panahong kailangan i-control ito. Or in a form of question, no? When is the perfect time to shut our mouths? Or improperly saying it, when is the perfect time to shut up? So, number one, sa natutunan natin, no, if what we will say will not help, especially sa isang important, critical, or crucial na discussion. Kung hindi naman tayo makakatulong sa pagsasalita natin, manahimik na lang. Kahit gaano pa siya katotoo, kung makakagulo lang, huwag na lang nating isabihin. No? I remember isa sa mga tumatak na nasabi ni Pastor Joey one time sa preaching din yun, lalo na pag sa church meetings, no? Hindi na lang siya nagsasalita kahit gaano pa katotoo kung magkakagulo lang yung church. So, both in the church and in our daily lives, ganito siya kahalaga. And ayun nga, yung nasabi ko na great incorporation ito, no, sa atin bilang salt and light of the world, nawa na tayo mga mananampalataya, nawa hindi na imbis na tayo ay asin, tayo ay nagiging amag. O imbis na tayo ay nagliwanag, tayo ay nagiging kadiliman dahil nagiging hangal tayo na hindi natin nare-restrain yung dila natin sa panahon na kailangan